Okay, I am back. All I have done since I saw you last was I cut out the pattern and I got the fur out that I was going to use. This is old Sammy fur. I have some better Sammy fur now, which actually probably better for the capybara as well, but uh, I'm not going to use my good fur on that. So I'm going to use this, but this has some advantages too. While it's a little shorter, it is a good color and it has stretch, which the new fur does not have. So um, I'm pretty happy with that. And I have plenty if I want to make Sammy out of this as well, because I had 8 yards, 7 or 8 yards when I started, and I still have about 6 yards, 6 or 7 yards now. So anyway, so I'm just pinning this thing in place. Hopefully I'll get some company while I work on this. And I think when I brush this out, it'll look a little longer. This episode I'm telling myself. So because I'm going to machine sew a good chunk of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark everything on this side, but I'm only going to, that's just soda that was in my mouth. I'm only going to mark the darts on the other side, and I'm going to sew up the darts I'm going to cut the darts out on both, and I'm going to cut out a seam allowance all the way around on this one, and on the other one I'm just going to cut it straight and do the darts and the mouth, cut those out, or cut those out and sew them except for the mouth, and then I'm going to line up the darts and the mouth with the other side, pin everything, and then I'm going to actually machine sew the outside. And I shouldn't have to mark the other side because I always end up going way off on the other side anyway. So this will make it easier. So let me get a brown pen, or a brownish pen, a pen that I can see. What about blue? What about green? I may not have a brown pen anymore. What's this? Blue. Let's see. So I have another piece of this. I'm going to mark it and see what happens to the other side. Tilly, knock it off. Yeah, you can see through it. So, let me see what I can find as far as a pen goes. I see yellow on here. Can't see it. I think that'll be okay. Okay, I'm going to mark all my tick marks. And the other thing I have to do is I have to make sure that I flip it over when I do the other side, because I don't need to mark them. If I was doing this all by hand, I'd want to put all the registration marks, but because I'm not, I'm going to ignore them. I'm going to get a brand new knife. I thought I had a brand new knife right here. Oh, there it is. Well, I have a brand new empty box. I need to grab a brand new. And again, I'm not going to cut out every part of this. I'm just going to cut out the darts at this point. And the mouth. The most difficult dart. I suppose I could cut out the bottom too. I think I will. The more pieces that you have to register, the better. But like I said, the sides will maybe drift a little bit, so it's better to leave a little bit extra fabric when you're doing this. And I don't usually do this. I only do it really with the Tilly puppets because I'm basically doing all of it with the machine if I can. The Tilly puppy puppets. And I'm right on the salvage edge, right at the corner here. And I should have had it moved over a little bit, but oh well. Okay. So I'll show you how much stretch this stuff has. I mean, that's uncommon for a fur to have that much stretch. I mean, it's pretty good fur too. And I want to make sure that it's all going away from the nose, the way that it's lying on here. Okay. I'm cutting the seam allowance on this part because it's going to be machine sewn. The other side I won't be quite so rigid about. Okay. All right, so there's our pattern. That's what the final will look like. Hopefully the fur is going in the right direction. Should be going down and away from the nose, which it seems to be mostly doing that. Okay. Now this side, this is the other side. And fur is going that way. And the stretch is going this way. So and the plane is going that way. All right, so I want to have it flipped over. I want the fur going down and yeah, that way. Okay. I want to say that I had it more straight up and down, so I'm gonna not waste as much fabric. Call me stingy. It's good enough. Probably don't need to pin all this, but I am. All right, that's all I'm going to cut right there, or I'm going to mark on this side. I'm going to leave it kind of long. I think actually, in addition to that, I'm going to put in, okay, I'm going to actually mark more of this than I was going to. because I'm just afraid I'm not going to be able to line it up again. But I'm not going to be particularly precious about it. I can usually get away with not doing all of it, but I don't trust it. Okay. See, part of this is adapting, being able to problem solve your way through it. But as it is, I'm not gonna cut most of this out. So. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna sew up these darts. I'll start with this one. Hopefully, let me make sure I got two of the right side, or two different sides, which they are. Great. There we go. I'm surprised I'm not getting any comments at all. I guess maybe it's a big night out tonight. Stuff better to do than watch somebody sew. Again, if you want to help me out, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Puppet Troop channel. I'm gonna be restreaming to all of these different things, but I'd like to try and build up that channel because I think it's the best way to get a following. Okay, I'll zoom in on this. I'll zoom way in on this. It's been pretty hot here in LA. So turn the fan on. Hopefully you all are as excited as I am to see this thing come together. Oh, that looks terrible. Let's see. I should probably have boiled this fur. I bought this fur, I want to say, back in about 2005. I don't know that I've ever used it because the fur that's on Sammy is a little bit different. I know I bought this stuff at the Fabric District over in LA. And I think the stuff that I used for Sammy, the Sammy that I have, was done with Joanne Fabrics. I think that's where I had, it was the last of the stuff I got from Joanne's. It's a little thicker and a lot less stretchy. And if this doesn't work, I guess I'll use the other fabric. I just hate to use the really good stuff on, not on my personal projects. Unless I get paid top dollar, then it's first class all the way. So I went through my supplies and I found that I had 7 yards of the old 70s Antron fleece. So if anyone wants to inquire, send me an email, send me a Facebook message. As much as I'd like to keep it, I originally bought 12 yards of it, and I still have 7 yards of it. And I bought it about 2004. So, and I've been enjoying using F3. So, I may hold on to 1 yard of it, but I think it's maybe I'd rather have the money at this point. Oh, somebody's here. Hi, Dave Baker. Hey, Steve. Have you gotten many pinjuries on today's live streams? What do you mean? I don't know what that is. I've had basically no one. I kind of was wondering if it was transmitting. I changed a bunch of settings trying to optimize my machine, and I ended up having to put some of them back because I was having so much lag on this. It looks pretty good right now, but I'll tell you what I should do though. put it on screen. All right, so I'm actually going to try and broadcast or live stream about 5 o'clock PST or Pacific time, Monday through Friday from now on. So I'm going to try and get a regular schedule. I may also do it around noon, but if I do, that'll be more sporadic. But on the weekend and on Saturday, I think Saturdays I'm going to try and do from noon to 2. I'll post it all in the thing. Let's see. No, I haven't really gotten anything. Not that I noticed. I did add one more subscriber to my YouTube channel, so I'm up to, I think, 28. The only reason I'm not machine stitching these darts is because they're so irregular in shape. I'm afraid that I'd mess it up, and I can have a little bit more control with the hand sewing in this case. Not so much this nose one, but the side one. Let's see how that's going to look. Oh, that's going to look lovely. Okay, this will be fine. Yeah, hides it pretty well. Okay. Okay. Well, it's lining up pretty well, which is good. Not so much there. Yeah, it's lining up fine. It's more of a guide anyway. If you break the live stream content into minute-long reels with a link to full video, you'll probably get more interest and more subs. Yeah, that's going to be something I need to look into, how to do that. I also want, and I should put this in a post, I want to start doing some filmed ones that are edited. So I guess if there's a list of topics that people want to have me do, I think I'm going to do one on glue and I'm going to do one on arm rods. But I was wondering if there were any other little tips you'd like me to go in depth on in, edited content. I can do that too. Here goes nothing. I'm just glad to have company on here. Well, as I said, I thought maybe I had screwed something up and people weren't actually seeing these feeds. I think most of my videos are pretty boring anyways. I mean, as far as like these live streams are, it would be tough for me to figure out how to break these ones up. I mean, they're all great. I think everybody should be watching them. They're so informative. I mean, what's more entertaining than me stitching? See, this is one of the reasons why I like to usually sew it right on the form, is because it's a little easier to, like, I'm afraid this is going to be real rough on this other side. It might be okay. But you can see already how much this is starting to drift. So I have a few things that I want to do. I would love to get another commission. If I got another commission, I would just do that. But I'm um, pretty much done with everything I have have as far as commissions go. I What I really need to do is I have to make a dog that is already paid for, which I've been putting off forever. So I'm going to make a new pattern for that. But probably I should mass produce a bunch of Tilly puppy puppets again. See if I can sell a few of those. I really want to rebuild Eddie, because I have an idea how to make an iMech for him. So that might be something. I also would like to try and make a replica of Nelson from Mongrels, but I don't know if I'll ever do that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, hey, TC. TC says it's not boring to those of us that enjoy building. Yeah, it helps me feel like one of the things that, well, I've been thinking about this a lot actually, is that cartooning is a very um, lonely pastime. And one of the reasons why I stopped doing it was just me sitting at a desk for hours on end. And with puppetry, or puppet building, especially when I had a shop with BJ, it was a very, collaborative, um, kind of social work. I mean, we're all just kind of toiling away, working on a project, talking, and um, a lot more, uh, I guess, social than drawing comics. But as I worked from home and solitary on a lot of things, I lost a lot of that, and so this is kind of helping me feel a little bit more of a community while I'm building. Um, And I do think that there's a vacuum left by Adam that needs to be filled, that I think I could probably do to some extent. As far as teaching, gotta wait for the plane to go over. As far as teaching people, I think that there is quite a bit that I can teach people. I was very lucky when I first started. Well, I wouldn't say I was lucky the first 10 years, but when I started working with BJ and actually having something of a professional career, I was very lucky in the amount of builders who I worked with who all kind of had different ways of going about a project. And I was able to learn from each one of them. And I'll try to pass on as many of those techniques as I remember, as well as how it led me to the way that I've done it. So hopefully that'll be helpful to other people. Document some of these techniques. Hey, Frank, you'll second what? Oh, that it's not boring to people who are interested in it? Thank you. I appreciate it. And Dave Baker says, just substitute the word boring for meditative. Yeah, when I meditate, it's boring. I don't think that's what you meant, though. So again, now that I have a few people in here, if there's anything you'd like me to like do a video on demonstrating a little bit more in depth, edited down, let me know, because I'm going to start doing some of those. I want to do one on different glues and how to use them, and I want to do one on building arm rods. But if you can think of something else, put it in the chat, because I'm going to start a list. And these all are being archived on YouTube. So be sure and subscribe to my little channel, Puppet Troop. I'd like to rebuild all my multiple characters too. That's another thing I want to do. Because I don't even have a Ralph or Ralphie, because Ralph was stolen. And I don't have, I have Roberta, but she's only partially built. And I have an old Sammy, but even Mayberry needs to be rebuilt. So it'd be nice to have them in case I ever start publicizing that. Just in case I start doing the Malibu comic again. I think those would be a fun one to do, because I'm not only kind of building something from scratch, I'm rebuilding something that I built, the last time in 2005. So, or so. So my way of building stuff is so different than back then. And I think it'll be interesting to compare and contrast, especially with the puppets I still have. I don't know. I find that interesting. Have any of you rebuilt the same character? I find that's very uncommon among puppeteers, unless it's for a job, like, I got to rebuild Kermit the Frog or whatever. I've rebuilt Mayberry at least 10 or 12 times over the years. And I asked BJ that and a couple other puppeteers, and hardly any of them had ever rebuilt a character that they had done for themselves. They just used the same one or moved on to something else. Making faces and getting likeness would be nice. Negative spaces between features and how utilizing negative space can help inform the process of obtaining a good likeness. I'd love to see the process of that. Oh, that's good to know. I've kind of done that a little bit in the way I show how caricature works, but I think probably there is something to that. Um, I'll add that to my list because it wouldn't have occurred to me to do something like that. I don't like building likeness puppets, but I know a lot of people do. I say that, and my biggest gig has been building Donald Faison and Zach Braff, so and Trace Atkins and Kid Cudi and the Castigly. So yeah, I really hate it. I've done out of the 50 or so puppets I've done, probably 30 of them have been likeness puppets. I should probably make myself a little toupee out of this fur. I keep thinking Charles Yeager should do one on mechanisms because his rod puppets. I'm always impressed by his ducks and all that. I think I'll probably do a found object, or what I call found objects, which is where I take a toy or a piece of junk or something and make a puppet out of it. I've never been a big fan of that. The one where I picked up a rock and look, I've made a puppet out of it. No, nothing like that. But like where you find a bottle or something that's the right shape and you make a puppet out of that. I'd like to do it kind of like how Mystery Science Theater does it with the toy with the Tupperware and all that. Um, I think I'd like to do a bunch of videos on that idea. That again is more of a concept than a follow along, though. I mean, you could follow along and make your own capybara if you watch me too close enough. But you know, I guess if I took a bleach bottle and made a puppet out of it, you could probably do the same thing. But and luckily, I only have two more of these darts to do before I can actually finish sewing this thing up. You know what? I might hand stitch the front up too because I do know it'd be a lot easier to do that mouth if I left it open. How are we looking on this side? It's not terrible. It's good enough. Hey Dave, did you end up getting it was you, wasn't it, that built the dog? Did you end up getting that harness? Sure, I'm glad I put all these registration marks on since they're not lining up at all. I'm probably going to run out of this brown thread by the time I machine sew, so I don't know what I'm going to use. It won't show up. I would just run over to Joann's and get some, but we know how that is. That's my new favorite joke. Like, well, I don't know if it's a joke, but just I noticed that I'm always like the stuff that I would just, oh, okay, I can just go over and get. It seems like I'm running out of it right now when they no longer exist. It's like 90% of my supplies come from Joann Fabrics and Muppet Vision 3D. Not that anything comes from Muppet Vision. It just also closed this week. One of the things I've been trying to also do with these is, like, I notice how dry a lot of my videos when I would try and show something on, a technique or something. I've been trying to get more of just kind of my normal everyday conversation into these videos, for better or for worse, I guess. Let's see what we got here. Yes, I just received it yesterday. It's on my new dog build with a short snout. I named him Axe. He's been slow going. I still have a bit to do on him. That's great. That's great that you're building dogs. I got to build more dogs too. Those are my, you know, I'd say those are my bread and butter. That's what I was going to say. They're my bread and butter. But really, I don't know. I seem to get a lot out of building those dogs. And I feel like just about everything you could need to know about building any puppet, you could learn building a dog, because you have the muzzle. If you don't want to put a muzzle on a puppet, you don't have to. So you've learned how to do that. You learn the patterning. You learn how to make armatures for hands or paws. You learn the arms and then the legs, if you want to do that. You also learn a mechanism if you want to put some sort of mechanism in there for ears, as well as how to support them if you don't. So, I mean, there's a lot you learn on a dog puppet or a cat, that I think when you just do the same tired, Kermit the Frog puppet over and over again, you're not really learning a lot of skills that you need for every puppet. I sure hope this fits. It's drifting so much that the bottom end isn't lining up anymore. So we'll see. We'll see how it looks. Again, because there is stretch to this particular fabric, it's a little bit more forgiving than other fur I've used. Oh, right. I don't know if I can fix that. Let's see. Okay. Well, it's good enough. I may have done, oh my gosh. Okay. I may have done 4 knots in that, but that's okay. All right. All right. There's that side of it. I'll make the other side. Try not to sew up his mouth. Yeah, I know. I have the registration marks on there, but they weren't lining up because the way that I did it, I don't know if you watched the other video, but I picked up the pattern before I drew the line around it, and then I put the pattern down to trace around it, and they're not in the right place anymore. So just, you know what, live and learn. Again, this not, I don't know. Maybe I should have a different attitude, but I feel like I have to make a few concessions because I gave them a deal. It's going to be a good puppet no matter what. But it is fun to learn all the different ways folks have for building, and you never know when someone will spark an idea when you see it. That's right. I think that's. I was talking to BJ yesterday about that. So much of building anything, really, building puppets or any real art form, I guess, is problem solving. I mean, you run into things where your traditional way of making something is not going to work, or you can't do it. If you know a variety of ways to accomplish the same thing, you're able to pivot to another way of working and be able to get past that problem. So, I mean, I just think it's important to learn all of them and take the techniques and maybe even parts of techniques that work. I am a firm believer of averaging the 2 sides, which I know a lot of people aren't. They see it as a waste of time and resources and everything. But I was burned so many times early on of not getting that center line in the right place that it just instilled in me this idea that if I want it to look like my original concept, I've really got to average those things. That may not be true for everybody, but I think it's important to show the way I work, so maybe it helps somebody else. I mean, my major contribution was using two different color pens. That's and the wedge method. A lot of people don't use that wedge method the way I do. Oh, maybe are you pretty close to finishing your cappy? I mean, your anteater, TC. I know you said you were working on it the other day. I thought this actually looked like an anteater when I first started working on it, especially that first version of it. Even a camel, kind of a camel looking too. Like I have that pattern for the Ralph puppet that I use. I use so much as a starting point, even though that it's for an alien. It worked really well for a lot of different head shapes. So you never know where one thing you build might lead to something else. Let me actually put that on camera. That what I'm doing. As much fun as it is watching just part of a piece of fabric. What you're really tuned in for was my expert sewing here. I have the legs and the tail and the body done. Just need to get everything connected and then start on the head. Oh wow! So you started with the body before you started with the head. I think I usually start with the head first. I was talking to Gordon Smooter at one point, and we were talking about somebody. I can't remember who it was we were talking about, but I was showing him in progress pictures of something I was working on. He says, "Oh, I can't work that way. So many. I watch people do this all the time, where they finish the head and then they start on the body." I guess the way he was working at the time was he would do the whole um thing like he would foam everything and then kind of work his way down, so the whole puppet was finished at the same time, whereas I would usually get the head completely done, and then, as you know from some of my other projects, sometimes I never get any farther than finishing the head. um uh that and then I'll start in on the body or the hands or whatever. Um but yeah, there's a lot of people who everybody works a little differently, I guess. And what does an anteater's tail look like? Is it real bushy? I might be thinking of a badger. So that's as much thread as I still have. Let's see if I have any other that might work. That's green. This is all about me trying to get around my color blindness here. That's orange. That's peach. That's green. That's green. I may have to go through my stores and see if I can find another tan. My build is for a friend that had a very particular image in mind, and yes, almost the length of his body and bushy. Okay, cool. Hopefully, with any luck, this will kind of form a natural, at least the beginnings of a nostril that I can make work. Okay, let me see if I can get this lined up to some extent. Yeah, see, these two sides don't even line up, not even close. Let's see what happens if I try and make it. Yeah, kinda. Kinda, sorta. I tell you what I'd like to get for my shop is a big digital clock that is in the background that basically maybe even like a stop light, a stop watch, that every time I sit down to build, I just turn it on. And so at the end of it, people would see how much time I spent on each puppet. I estimate, or BJ always estimated it as 100 hours per. And maybe as far as the design, the design phase and the prototyping and all that, I think probably that's pretty close. But then I think about, well, Zoidberg, I filmed every part of that pretty much, except for a couple of maybe 4 hours of it was not filmed. And I think all those videos all together only amounted to about, what, 40 hours of content? So maybe I'm overestimating. Oh my gosh, I just messed that up. Don't I know that this thread is at a premium? Look at all that thread I just wasted. Oh well. What happened to the needle part? Did I cut off the part that had the... Oh my gosh. Okay, let's start over. What happened to that? Yeah, I must have cut off the needle. Okay. Look at that. I used up all that thread, and I can't even say that I have made any progress. I wonder where I can get other thread. I guess maybe I could go online and find someplace. What is this? This is Coates and Clark. And I got the number 8230. I guess I could just order that. Okay, let's start over. See, I need to make this. I need to make my puppet channel real popular so I can afford to go rent a studio outside of the flight path. Okay, here we go. Hey, Steve, I just sent you a photo of my small snout puppet, work in progress in DMD. Oh, fantastic. I'll take a look at it when I get off of here. Actually, maybe I can put it on the, let's see. Can I show it to everybody else? Oh, he looks great. Yeah, let me know if I can put it up there because I'll show it to everybody else. See, I have all the fur or all the material and all the. I even blocked out the head to make a dachshund. I should make that dachshund. He was a cool idea. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me show you. So that's the dog that Dave just sent me. Looks really good. What'd you do? Did you just like when I would put my pattern up there? Did you kind of use that as a starting point, or did you go through the steps and create a pattern? I know you said that you kind of use my pattern, but I mean I don't care. Let me put that on the screen. This might be as far as I get tonight if I can't find any other thread. I'd hate to use like another color and have it be noticeable. That would drive me crazy. Oh, I don't think that on when I was doing the Max puppet, I even had a pattern. I was just using the Eddie pattern and kind of altering it. So I guess you probably could kind of use that. I'm not sure, but I didn't go through the process. I mean, using that as a starting point to build another character patterns and alter it, because I think that's a skill, being able to modify a pattern. Okay, here we go. I used the pattern and modified it for glitch, then used the glitch pattern as a starting point, made it more and modified it more for axe. That's great. That's fantastic. And hopefully you still have a kind of a copies of all the patterns so that you can just keep building your dog arsenal. Yeah, when I built Strange Pork, I had the Strange Pork, I had the pattern I made, and then I just modified that to make Miss Piggy. And I did film that whole process, but I think that it's something that I think a lot of people either they have to buy a pattern and use that, or they have to build it from scratch. But I think there's a whole other subset of being able to take a pattern that at least has something in common with what you want to finish, and being able to modify it, make it work. You had to drape it, right, in order to get the fur to fit around the snout. Eventually, I'd like to have a dog show, either at a convention or online, where we all enter our dog puppets in and have to have a talent contest and maybe run drills. Maybe I can get a, you know, get eventually down the line some celebrity deaths or some celebrity judges like Rolf the dog or Lassie. I don't know. I don't know. I think it would be kind of a fun event because we all. It seems like so many people make dogs. I really love dog puppets, and I think a lot of others like dog puppets too. Yes, I draped it for the head and body and created completely new. That's fantastic. I love that. I've got a great dog puppet. Oh, hey Frank. Yeah, I think that would be really fun. I need to look into that because I don't even know what venue, but I think it could be such an event. I really think it'd be great to have like a big Zoom call or something where we all can get on, and you have a minute and a half to do a bit with it, and maybe talk about your dog. And maybe there's a section where we talk about the build, and then have some judges judge it, and it'd be like the Westminster dog show kind of, but all puppets. And Tilly would always win. No. I think a puppet dog show is the only thing that Tilly could win. She's not. she, she doesn't know. There's not too much she can do that is show worthy. And again, they're not lining up, but I'm not worried about it. They don't line up in about the same amount. Yeah, BJ and I talked about doing a dog show back during the pandemic. That was something we were talking about, maybe trying to figure out a way to do, and we just never did anything with it. I'm a great idea man, but less of a finisher. And these last few inches, I don't even care. It's just getting it together. Oh, cool. What's beyond the sock? Is it some other group I have to be jealous of? So I have to take my glasses off in order to do my sewing, and as I do, my hands drift over, and it's not till I finally look up to look at the monitor that I see that how far off camera I am. And this one lines up, so I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Gotta go for now. Gotta go pick up some dog food before Pet Club closes. I'll catch the rest of live when I get home. Thanks for everything. Oh, COVID killed it after 2019. Oh, let's see what else it is. Okay, it was a week-long workshop at University of North Texas. We built puppets with Pasha Romanowski and learned on-camera techniques from Peter Lintz and Noel McNeil. Oh, I have heard of that. I didn't realize that was what it was called. Okay, so now I'm going to pin this all up. Back it off a little bit. Oh, not that much. Okay, so I just basically line up everything that's cut out. This is a side I'm going to be sewing on. Actually, could probably use the clips. I like these clips. I didn't think I would, but I do. I like them. When you did Beyond the Sock, were there any people, that uh, are still pretty active on the boards that I might have known that were in the same group with you, or just people, just random people? Okay, so that's not going to light up now. That's okay. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to hand sew the front on. The only reason is because I like to keep this side open when I'm uh, actually, you know what? If I'm going to do that, I should cut it. I'd like to keep it open for when I do the what you call it, do the mouth plate because it's a little easier. But it is going to be a lot more work. But, oh well, it'll look better in the long run. I should say hand sew the whole thing, but you can hear the contempt in my voice. Okay, a lot of people are active on Puppet Maker's Workshop and Puppet Nerd, but we actually have a members only group tool. Oh, that's cool. I only have a members only jacket. So they're not doing anything with it anymore then. All right, now that's all. I'm gonna have to hand sew that now, but that's okay. I won't sand it. I'll hand sew it last. It's just easier to get in that mouth plate when you have that, when you hand sew that. So I think that's the way to go. Okay, I really don't need to pin that, but I did. I did anyway. Okay, so that's the side I'm going to sew. All right, now I got to figure out what I'm going to use to sew it with. Oh, cool. Yeah, Catherine's great. I know she had taken classes from BJ as well, and I think he actually recommended she take my class. I think that's right. But yeah, it's always interesting. Like I learned a lot from Ron Binion, who showed up in a lot of Adam Savage's videos lately. He was in that one with the Knights, but I do a lot. I've done a lot of stuff with him over the years. He's the one that taught me that thing about pinning the fabric to the body form to keep it from stretching out. Nope, not that one. How about that one? Yeah, Ron's great. He actually puppeteered on a puppet thing that hasn't been released yet that I built all the puppets for and designed all the puppets for. And he and BJ puppeteered on it. And oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how good those puppets looked with them puppeteering it. You know, there's something different about having somebody that, oh, that's what happened to those. Having somebody who knows what they're doing operate one of your puppets. Oh, and I thought this was brown, but it's actually green. Imagine that. Okay. Let's see what I can find here. That might work. Yeah, everybody has their own little way of working, and it's good to be in a group where people are flexible with the way they're working. Is that same color? No. Because if we get the same results, it doesn't really matter. But you know, you have to always be able to adapt to. If somebody likes you to sew that neck ring around, you do it. You do it that way. If they're leading the thing, or they like I've never worked. Oh no, on Zoidberg I worked this way. It was the first time in all the puppets I ever built where I put the mouth plate onto the fabric and then glued the whole thing into the or there was a fabric mouth plate that got glued onto uh, the base mouth plate, and I'd never done it that way. Even all of the Puppet Nerd ones were like that, but I had never done it that way, and I did on that one. But if that was the way you always built, and you went on a job where you had to build the way they were building, you would have to adapt to the way they built it. And they would, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. I worked with Dave Barclay, who was one of the second-hand guys on Empire Strikes Back for Yoda and a bunch of other things. He ran through his whole thing. He was on Roger Rabbit. He did a lot of stuff with Mike Quinn as well. And he was the one who taught me the thing about always having the same order of operations so that the head stayed the same. Because if you got in the habit of, I'll do the darts first and then I'll do the rest of it, you'll get a different shape than if you do the you did the darts last. It changes the shape, and so if you're trying to match something and you don't use the same order of operations, you're going to end up introducing variables that you don't want to deal with. Oh, maybe I'll plug in the sewing machine. Carol Binion was the one who taught me about how to true up patterns. But, all those different people showing me all those different ways has kind of informed the way that I work. And everything I teach you will, if you like it, end up informing the way you work. It's a big assumption on my part. There were so few resources when I first started that I had to get training wherever I could. Make notes on my orders of operation to keep consistent. I don't. I probably should, but I always try to do the same order of operations on everything. Like I always, start in one place and end in the other, just so that I keep it consistent. Because I know if I do it the same every time, then 5 years down the road, I'll still be doing it that way. At least that's my idea. Oh, Carol was also responsible for teaching me how to label my patterns and what I should label on the patterns, which I still have to label that pattern I made earlier. I know this isn't brown, just in case you guys are tracking my color blindness, but it's close enough. Oh yeah, thank you. I'm going to be teaching it in Las Vegas next year. My pattern making workshop. I'm also thinking of doing one online coming up. I keep talking about it. It's basically what I do. I do in every one of these builds, but it'll be more in depth, and we can kind of. I'm sure I'll talk about things that don't ever occur to me. I don't usually work this way, but again. It's a heavily discounted puppet. Totally worth it. Really? Oh, that's fantastic, Frank. What are you teaching? It says Frank is teaching in Vegas as well. Oh, are you teaching on camera? So I'll just ask. I'll just wait for you to answer. I read it differently, and I thought you were teaching maybe manipulation. Ouch. Oh, man. I just cut my finger. Just got demonetized. Let me take... Now, that might be a career-ending injury. There was a Persona blade right here that I dragged my finger across. Oh, manipulation with monitors. That's great. Oh, that's fantastic. I should probably take your class. Yeah, wait for my finger to stop bleeding. Maybe I should stop working on this until completely done. Yeah, it's not bad. I've never done that. I don't know how I even did it that time. Not like that. What's scary is I have no idea where it even went. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Oh, that's a good idea. Are you doing it through Lisa Land, or are you doing it something else? I just ran into the wall too. It's like learning puppetry from Clouseau. Well, honestly, this thing is still bleeding, and I probably should get off of here before. I'm not going to pass out or anything from it. It's just I don't want to get it on this fur if I can help it. Oh, good. You're doing it through Lisa as well. yeah, I'm hoping that I can get enough students. It's cheaper than it was last time, and it's a better project, I think. Originally, I was just going to teach. In the original version I did, I was just going to teach how to pattern a basic head. That was going to be the 3 days. It was just basically prototyping. But I think the way I'm going to do it is it'll be a little bit. It'll almost be like the way I do Eddie's head on the little Tilly puppet bodies. So the bodies are going to be really simple, but we'll actually have a full puppet at the end, which will be nice. But everybody's going to prototype their own puppet, and they're going to uh, pattern from scratch. So in the process of that, they'll learn the whole technique. That's my plan. And they can make a cat or a dog. Really, the only difference would be the size of the muzzle and the the way that the way that the size of the muzzle and the way the ears are put on. Okay, so my fingers seems to be pretty good. So I'm gonna cut off all this extra fabric. I don't know if you can see it from this angle, but on my wall here, I have all my scissors. You see that? And the way I have it set up, usually have it set up like this, so that all the foam scissors are facing down, and all the sewing scissors are facing up. Of course, I show it to you, and it's not that way, but that's usually the way I do it. And then when I forget which scissors and I grab the wrong ones, my sewing scissors become my foam scissors, and then I retire the foam scissors. But I haven't done that in a while. And I put the date that I start using them on it as well, which is a holdover from the way I used to work when I was doing comics. I would do the same thing with Sharpies, so that I knew not to use the Sharpies too long, because otherwise the point would get too dull to letter with them. Okay. Okay. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, maybe we get Lisa to just let us swap classes. Let's get this bad boy on there. He looks like he's a proud member of the Royal Order of Buffaloes here. Let's see. Yeah, I need to really work on my manipulation of, of puppets. But his head is really collapsing. And I don't think there's any way to get into it. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to pin this at the bottom here at an angle so I don't skewer myself here. All right, why is this not fitting? Oh. Boy, why is that not fitting? Well, this may have been a big waste of time. No, there it goes. It's like, this thing isn't fitting. Well, it's good that there's some stretch to it, though. So this is tight. This is a tight squeeze. I'll make it work, though. If I have to, I can always cut a little bit out of this belly and make it a little smaller, but I would rather not do that. I can help it. I'm leaving you all in suspense, hopefully. It's like Rodney Dangerfield. The belly is so tight. I'll try and do this without poking my hand. Okay, never mind this front, but it looks pretty good from the back. Still got the range of motion I want. Mouth still works. Yeah, I think it'll be fine once I get that all sewn in. Maybe I'll glue this tonight. I haven't decided yet. Yeah, I could probably glue this tonight, but I'm gonna do that outside. So I will. I'll be on tomorrow. I'm gonna pop on at about, I think, noon. Noon tomorrow. I'm gonna try and start my little schedule and go as long as I can. I'm gonna take Father's Day off, and then I'll be back on Monday. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time. And it was great hanging out. And